episode 2 of the Canalta Hotel's AJHL Coaches Show. I'm Dave Dawson at the Sherwood Park Arena, pleased to be joined by Crusaders head coach Adam Manah. Adam, thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate you having me on.
And why don't we just start with, recapping the season for you so far, coming out of the showcase weekend in Camrose. How would you summarize the 2018-19 season so far for the crew?
So far, not bad. We're happy with how we've started. We're 3-2-2. A couple of the games that we've lost, we've let slip away. We've had 3-0 leads, 3-1 leads, in which we've lost in overtime. But that's going to be a learning thing for our group, and how to play a full 60-minute game. But overall, we've had some real good games as well along the way, and we're seeing some encouraging things so far. So hopefully we can just keep that going now, moving forward into the next segment here.
Bit of an offensive explosion in game one of the showcase weekend, and then dropping a 4-1 decision to Camrose. How would you recap those games?
Thursday, like I said, we were solid. That was one of our better games with a 7-1 win, but I thought we created a lot offensively and played well defensively on the other side of things, and had good goaltending as well when we needed it. And then Saturday, we kind of were a little flat. We didn't come out with as much juice in the tank and as much energy. So give credit to Camrose. They played a solid game at home, and we had our chances, but like I said, we didn't generate nearly enough as we did on Thursday, and we have to be better if we're going to get 2 points in this league.
You did mention goaltending, and what I'd like to do is maybe go position by position and kind of break down the crew this year and kind of what to expect. And goaltending, I think, is one that I'm sure you'd be excited to talk about. With already a couple of good goaltenders in camp, then you go in and you bring in Matt Berlin. Now, what is he going to bring to the team?
Oh, Matt, big goaltender, 6'4". Takes up a lot of the net and is intimidating to shoot on. That's for sure. There's not a whole lot of net to see when he's in the pipes. So Matt, just unbelievable character guy in our room, and goalies typically get that rep of they're a little maybe odd or weird, but Matt's not that guy. He's an outstanding kid. Brings a lot to our dressing room in terms of, like I said, the character, the leadership qualities that he has, and the biggest thing is that he's a really good goaltender that can play the puck and make timely stops when you need it. So he brings everything that we need to our group, just to settle us down and keep us calm out there, and that's what you need in a goaltender. So Kyle did a great job of bringing Matt in 2 years ago, and we haven't seen him since because he's been playing in the Western League. So it's nice to be on the receiving end now that he's 20 and have a solid rock in the net back there.
Was that something that, as you're evaluating, heading into the 2018-19 season, looking at goaltending last year, a couple of good goaltenders, but maybe an area to grow? Was that one area of focus that you were trying to be intentional on this year?
Well, I think you're trying to grow in every area all the time. So you can't be satisfied with what you have. You got to always look to get better, and that's Kyle's mentality in a nutshell. It's if he was sitting here right now, he'd be saying the exact same thing. So, Kyle's, like I said, done a really good job as our GM in terms of recruiting and making a trade here and there to bring in the right pieces, and Vince Sinatinsky as well on the recruiting end in terms of scouting has done a good job as well. So that's where we have Carter Geilander as our young goaltender that's backing up Berlin, and we have Brandon Vogel as well. So we have 3 right now, and we have to make a decision to keep 2. So we're trying to get that nailed down. But you're trying to get better at every position as best you can.
Why don't we move over to the forward position? And obviously Ryan Cox now is aged out and headed to NCAA hockey. How would you evaluate the crop that you have, and what do you expect in 2018-19?
Oh, we think we have a fairly skilled forward group. We've added some sandpaper as well with the trade that brought in Brett Wheatchester and Tyson Scott. And don't get me wrong, they have skill as well to add into that mix. But we needed to get heavier up front, and we've done that now. So we're just waiting for all the pieces to start syncing together, I guess, if you will. We had that on Thursday when we put up 7, and we feel we're 4 lines deep, and any of the 4 lines can score at any time. So we don't really have a line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. But we're fairly happy with the forward group that we have, and we just need to make sure that we can score some goals and again at those timely moments of the game.
Early in this season, Arjun Atwal looks to have got the hot hand and looks to be well passing his career highs so far. How would you describe his game, and what is he doing right now?
Oh, Argeous, again, another big piece to not only to our lineup, but our forward group in terms of He's a small, shifty guy that's skilled, sees the ice well, isn't scared to, drive pucks to the net, isn't scared to go to the tough areas for being a smaller guy out there. And he's tough to play against because D-man, you can't play that clutch and grab game anymore. So Arge brings a lot to the table in terms of, scoring, playmaking, being that leader up front that we need. And again, very happy to have him back in our lineup, coming back from the Western Hockey League. And, he's wearing a letter on his jersey for a reason, and he's a big piece to our forward group.
As someone who's spent some time coaching in the midget AAA ranks, I imagine the younger players and the high skill levels is something we might be continually seeing with Sherwood Park. Carter Savoy is a guy that we talked about before we started recording. What does he do well?
Well, what does Carter do well? It's pretty much everything. It's you know what? No, it's, to be honest with you, he's another very dynamic hockey player. He's very smart when he gets the puck. He already knows where he's going to move the puck before he gets it, and he's probably got maybe the second hardest shot on our team behind Garrett Clegg, and that's for him being 16 years old, remember. And so it's pretty impressive to say the least. And Carter, is one of the things that he's been doing a really good job of, I guess, making the adjustment from midget to junior, is that he's always keeping his feet moving. He's been aggressive. He's been physical, which, again, for a 16-year-old skilled guy, you wouldn't expect that out of him. But he's been doing all the little things right, and we're just trying to fine-tune his game and help him along the way. But, he can score. He can set guys up. He can pretty much do it all, very similar to Arjun Atwell.
Somebody who's already committed, too, as a 16-year-old, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Denver, yeah. Just like Mike Benning, they're both going to go together to Denver University, so they're quite happy. And the good thing is they're committed early, which means they can essentially relax and just play the game and get better.
Someone who has some broadcasting experience as well, knows about segues and perfectly segueing into defense. Mike Benning, those in the Edmonton area, maybe in the NHL ranks, familiar with the Benning last name. What does having a guy like that mean to your team?
Well, Mike, along with our whole D-corps, has done a good job so far. But Mike, again, a very dynamic guy on the back end. He skates well, gets himself out of trouble, and again, only 16 years old. Finds himself, as a puck-moving defenseman with a lot of poise. And he sees the ice well in terms of the offensive zone. On Thursday, he got a DDD pass at the blue line, zipped it right through the middle into the slot, and found our guy wide open. And those are plays that are tough to see, let alone being 16 if you're 20. So Mike, he's a fantastic D-man. He's a fantastic kid, and we're extremely happy with what he's been able to bring. It's something that we've needed on our back end for a long time, and he's going to be he's got a bright future ahead of him.
As a coach, a lot of the role is to develop skills in players, and sometimes it makes it easier with having the really skilled ones in camp, and you can just allow them to be the best versions of themselves. But how much emphasis and how much time do you put in week in and week out on just honing or maybe developing skills in players, or maybe allowing them to see skills that they don't know that they have? And what does that do for you when you can finally allow them to see that?
I actually love that question, because we've kind of not necessarily tweaked it a bunch from the last couple of years and how we've started off the year, but we've put a bigger emphasis on skill development and breaking down the skills inside the structure per se. So for an example, your puck protection skills, you think about your offensive zone play, you need puck protection, you need cycling, you need, all those little things that go inside your big picture, I guess, or your structure. So stick on puck, body on body, those little skills that maybe people don't think about are as important. They're huge for us. So along with your basic puck control skills, your passing, your shooting, all those little things that go inside it. But those are the biggest things that we've been working on to start the year. We haven't even worried about the power play and penalty kill because we've been working on the skills inside it, whether it's a high roll, it's, give and goes, scissor plays, the things, again, inside the power play that help it work. So, angling, all those things for the penalty kill, and just, again, how to check. So, I've had a lot of good help along the way in terms of my mentors, and, I'm going to throw out Fran Gallo out there, but, he was instrumental to me, throughout the summer, and just sitting down and talking and, helping me out. And, it's been really good for not only us as a coaching staff, but our group on the ice.
I was going to get there eventually and talk about mentorship, because I think that mentorship at any level, at any age, is so vital. What are some of those things that maybe a piece of advice or something that you've been able to take from him that has helped you to be a better coach, a better person?
Just to take baby steps, maybe, and not try and rush to get to the bigger step too fast. You got to take it day by day and make sure that guys are understanding, why we're doing things, what's inside the big picture, and once they get the small things inside it, then all of a sudden everything else takes care of itself. And he's, that's where maybe, I was doing it maybe at the minor hockey levels more because you're starting at Bantam, you're starting at midget, so you want to teach them those skills, and that's where maybe that was on me, that once you get to junior, you can't assume that guys maybe already have those skills down and you can jump to the bigger picture. It's something that you have to work on continuously at whatever level you're at, whether it's AJHL, Western League, the pros, they all have to work on the same thing. So for him, that was probably the biggest thing Fran has been kind of guiding me with or teaching me along the way, and it's been really good for me.
Maybe those who don't watch hockey as intently and aren't as involved in the game as you are might look at the Vegas Golden Knights as a template of going, okay, a bunch of guys who nobody really knows go off to the Stanley Cup final. Is there any correlation between the amount of detail and time that's spent on coaching a player, the intangibles, buying into the system, and what that can take you to? Does that give you as a coach a great template of going, you work hard, you can be like this?
Yeah, 100%. We've been showing our guys a lot of video so far throughout the year, just in terms of those things that we've been trying to develop in them, and we're really happy with the group in terms of our work ethic and the commitment that we have from them in terms of practice and off the ice and doing all the right things in terms of that. And it's probably been our best year for that with the group that we've had since we came in 2 years ago. So we've been trying to build it year by year, and we're finally starting to get some headway. And, in terms of the recruiting and the guys that we're bringing in terms of character and their work ethic and all those types of things. And yeah, Vegas is a good example. They had buy-in, and, nobody expected them to do that well in their first year, but they clearly have a real good coaching staff in place that, everybody can look up to in terms of the way they're operating and the way they're, teaching their guys in terms of, hey, you're going to make mistakes. It's okay. We're not going to bench you per se. We're going to get you right back out there so that you can fix that mistake and go out and kind of redeem yourself.
How would you describe yourself as a coach on the bench and in the dressing room, and what kind of mindset do you want to shape into your players when they see Coach Manah? Do they want to see the approachable guy? Is he the door is always open, or is he the demand results? So what kind of personality do you want to have?
Maybe a mix of both things of what you said. I'd hope that the guys, not only from my side, but Jeff and Kyle and our whole coaching staff, is that we're very prepared, that we're very detail orientated, that we take things very seriously in terms of how we prepare. And, if we prepare the right way, then our guys will follow suit. And, obviously we want to be a result driven team and organization, because that's what the game is, and that's the business of it. But, in terms of being the doors always open guy, yeah, that's exactly who we are, and we like to say that we're a players type coach. So whether it's me or Jeff or Kyle, the door's always open for our guys, and we feel we communicate quite well, and they never have to be afraid of coming in and asking questions.
When it comes to results, I guess you don't have to look far to look at the standings in the AJHL, the history of the championships, and it's obviously, what you need to get through in order to get to the championship. The Spruce Grove Saints and this year Bonnyville's having success, and Fort McMurray. It's a team that you've known over the years past. How do you as a coaching staff build and go, okay, we know we need to get through these teams. Do you feel this year, with the pieces you have in place, I think every team believes they can contend, but is there a belief system that, yeah, we can be able to get to that next level, the Sherwood Park Crusaders?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of where we've been trying to build it for the last 2 years and clean up what we've needed to clean up. And now we're in a spot then, this year and next year where we're going to be looking to take that next step. And obviously it's not going to be easy. It's always very difficult coming out of the North Division. And there's a lot of good hockey teams, and all the hockey teams do a good job of recruiting and making their teams better. So it's a pretty tight race just looking at the standings already. It's right from 1 all the way down to 8. It's there's only separated by three points. So the North is going to be a good way to sum it up would be wide open this year from the looks of it. And that's something that maybe hasn't been the case in the last couple of years where there's kind of been one or two clear front runners. We'll see how it continues to go, but right now it looks like it's going to be fairly wide open. So for us, that's a good thing, and hopefully we can use that to our advantage and jump up there.
Since we are coming into the showcase, a lot of that has to do with recruiting and scouts and the NCAA level. I think I talked with Eric Thurston in episode 1 about building the product and the level of junior A hockey, and NCAA is hockey is just raised to a new level, especially in the States. So what kind of dialogue do you have with NCAA schools? Do you see more recruitment? Do you see more interest in the Sherwood Park program?
Yes. You know what? We had a lot of interest in the last 2 games, Thursday and Saturday at the showcase, even though, you know, the result wasn't as good on Saturday, but there were still a lot of guys, a lot of scouts down there to talk to our guys. And we heard that there were 16 NHL scouts at the showcase this weekend, which I think was the highest that they've ever had. So that's speaking volumes to the AJHL and to the league. And, you know, again, the product that we have on the ice, and it's a good league. It's, you know, we tell our Western League guys when they come back that, you know, it's the AJHL is the league that's coming up, and there's a lot of good players out here. So you have to be prepared for that, and it's not going to be necessarily a step down from the Western League. It's going to be just as tough. So, but in terms of the guys that, you know, on the recruiting side of the NCAA part, you know, we send out a players to watch list to every D1 school beforehand, before the showcase, so that they have it and they can see which guys they're watching. And, you know, then it's up to them on who they like and who they don't like. But, and obviously the players to do their part on the ice. But we try and do everything that we can as a coaching staff, again, with not only the players to watch list, but, you know, sending video to every school and making sure that they see what type of players we're developing here, and that gets them on the radar quicker, and hopefully gets them a scholarship at the end of the road.
Does it excite you as a coach to, maybe not in the last 10, 15 years, more so in the last between 5 and 10 years, the quality of hockey at junior A level with NCAA hockey? It seems like players are getting drafted more of junior A. Players are taking the NCAA route, and maybe not. The Western League is still a great league, but does it excite you as a coach of a junior A team to know that there's tremendous opportunity to build future great hockey players and great young men that come through these programs?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's very exciting. And that's why we come to the rink every day, and we're so excited to work with these guys, because they're driven to want to be, you know, the best they can be, and to get to the next level. And you're absolutely right in terms of the, you know, it seems like more players are wanting to go that NCAA route, especially if they're good in school. It just kind of gives them more time to develop their game, instead of, you know, you go to the Western League, and by no means is one route, you know, better than the other. You know, we did just the Western League. You're once you're done at 20, you got to be ready to make that jump. And you know, where guys are maybe able to develop in junior till 20 and then go play college until they're 23, 24, and then that's where NHL teams are now looking at guys coming out of, you know, college at 24, saying, hey, okay, he's developed into a man now, and we're ready to make him a, you know, a contract offer or an invite to our camp. So you're seeing that more and more, and it's again, it's great for you know, junior A and in general, whether it's the AJHL, BCHL, whatever it might be. So it's really encouraging for the players and for us to you know, have time to develop them, and you don't want to be necessarily in a rush to get to that next level. You want to take your time and make sure that you're almost overripe, you know, when you get there, so that you have success.
If there is one mindset maybe for Crusaders fans out there in the community, and maybe a message for the Sherwood Park fans, I know that this has been a competitive team for years, a history of making the playoffs and being able to put good teams together. What are maybe your words for fans out there who want to get behind this team in 2018-19?
Well, we had a great home opener with 1,300 people here, and that's what we need from the community as the guys really rally around, you know, getting people in the stands and fans in the stands, and we just want to keep seeing them out more and more. We're developing a good product here. We know that, we're confident in that, and we just want them to have confidence in us that we're putting that team together. And if they can continue to come out and give our guys, you know, a lot of energy game by game, that's what's going to pay off the most for us. So especially when it, you know, dials down to the big games. So that would be the biggest thing. And you know, I know they've had patience so far in the first 2 years. So hopefully year 3 and year 4 here will be, you know, good years for us.
Adam Manah, a guy that I've always enjoyed chatting with. Spiritual nuggets, the word manna means in the years past, nuggets of information. So there's a new word for you, I guess.
Always known as the little guy. So, I mean, nugget takes it to a whole new level, and I'm sure I'm going to get chirped for that one by all the other coaches once they see this, but hopefully not too much. Hopefully not too many watch it at the end of the day. But
Adam, pleasure to have you on. Thanks for joining us today. Best of luck, I guess, the rest of this week and throughout the month of October as well.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, and thanks for joining us for episode 2 of the Canalta Hotels AJHL Coaches Show. On behalf of our cameraman, Jordan Miller, I'd like to say thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode.